to inspire, to inform, to motivate you, to keep you abreast of information. My name is Stephen Turner. I'm the managing director of the Slayton Group, where we are a business insurance risk advisory company, as well as I represent the Black Business Association. Speaking of Black and African American, for those of that persuasion, it's my pleasure to introduce the creator of the community briefing, Crystal Mitchell.
Good morning, everyone. Glad to have you.
Morning.
Glad to be here. We have our one of our own speaking today on updating and pivoting and things that we need to do. So, in addition to where the money is and excuse me, who's doing what and who's sitting at various tables, we also need to know how we need to proceed on in post COVID when that time comes. I am Crystal Mitchell. I'm the co-director of Recycling Black Dollars. And I also co-host a couple of podcasts, The Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert, the community briefing, and as well as a new one that I just did is called Conversations on the Patio with Javon and Crystal. We're talking about retirement and finance and planning and budgeting. And this Monday is every Monday at noon. We're talking about wills and trusts. So tune in. It streams live on Facebook, on my page and the Business Zone page. And the Business Zone is on every Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock. So we're gonna do bank loan readiness on Friday. It's a class in session. So glad to have you guys here. I want to welcome my co-host, Ms. Robin Billups, and she will tell you
Yeah.
all about herself.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Always excited to be here. Couple of things that I want to say. I'm with the Billups Group. I'm a consultant. I work with I work with companies, corporations who are looking to diversify their supply chain, even from an informal to a formal process. And I work with entrepreneurs to get them script up, assessed, and help them create their strategic plan. And one of the things that I always tell my clients, and I want you guys to hear this when I'm saying it, we are all in a position now where we have to implement while we're building infrastructure. We have to implement while we're building infrastructure. So today's presentation by Mr. Sneed, it came from that kind of conversation about what he's done to pivot his business and what are those tools out there that he's tested and that have worked for him. And we will all add in some commentary, but be a good listener and make sure you're taking notes, because what he's going to give you is he's been through the rabbit hole and he's out. And now he has a platform, he has a new business that he's going to be introducing, and he's going to be sharing these tips with you. And again, the reason why we do this weekly briefing is to give you something that you can immediately go and implement in your company. So, again, thanks for the folks who are regulars, and thank you for the regulars inviting other people. And as we grow this audience, the more we know, the more we can do, and a collective group of individuals can get something done. So thanks again for the opportunity to be with you, and thank you for your time.
Okay. So before, and then Stephen he's our producer, co-host as well. And Gregory is actually also one of our co-hosts and contributors. So we're happy. Hi, Monita. How are you? Glad to have you. You guys continue to tell people. But before we Greg is an amazing speaker. So before we turn it over to him, I just want to give you guys a couple of updates that's going on that we're going to quickly share. We don't have PCR today, but they will be back next week. But there are some other, there's another program that I taught on last week. It is called, I did a workshop last week called 60 Days to Bankable, earlier this week, actually. And can you guys see the screen? So LA County has a program for those businesses that are looking to stabilize post COVID and start stabilization now. And so this is actually a loan program, and that loan program is for loans starting at $50,000 up to $3 million. As you can see, they opened it up. This is a county program. They opened it up on January 12th, and includes anyone, including non-business owners, can attend free of charge. The calendar you will find on LACDA website, bizhelp.lacda.org. They want to help you, so you can apply for this loan. It starts as of today. And you apply when you go to their website. You're going to apply for the LCDA loan. You're going to attend a one-on-one session with a TA provider to complete the application and find out what your loan needs are. And they will offer you personal guidance and ensure that you meet their minimum eligibility requirements, and as well as whatever documentation you're going to need. You and I'll put this in the chat, the biz stabilization lacda.org, to schedule your one-on-one, so you can find out more about it. And to qualify, you have to attend one of the must attend webinars applying. So we had a webinar on Tuesday, and that was one of the ones. That was the one that you could be on, and they're going to have others. So you must sign up on their website and get more information. And next week, excuse me, next week, someone from, and this is how you go about doing it. Next week, someone from Vermont Slauson is going to be on. They have something else going on today, so that's why they're not here. So I will put the information in the chat room. This is pretty much for those businesses that can absorb a loan and can repay a loan, but the qualifications are pretty much like the PPP, some few more qualifications, but next week they will go through what those eligibilities will be. But you can also go on their website and you can reach out to them for your one-on-one to find it out in details. But we want you to know that in addition to grants, some businesses can absorb loans, and if it's going to help you grow, and maybe, as Greg is going to talk about, transition or pivot into another platform, then it might be a good idea. And as with all loans, it's not a one size fit all, and not all companies can apply, or it doesn't suit all companies. But if right now that they're I think the requirements are a lot more lenient than it used to be, especially for African American or Black owned business owners. So if the opportunity is for you and you can jump in there, and it has a low interest rate, which I'm hearing is a 3.5 interest rate, then by all means, if it's going to help you grow. If it's going to create more problems for you, then no. Yes, Miss Robin.
Yeah, I wanted to say, we're in a time, I was a lender for almost 30 years, and we're in a time where rates are very, very low. So part of it is apply and let them deny you so that you can learn what it is you're missing. If you don't apply, how do you know what you're missing? And then two, it creates an opportunity for you to build a relationship with a lender that you may be able to use somewhere down the road. And so again, the rates are, we're never going to see rates this low again. We're never going to see the underwriting as loose, I won't say as loose, as liberal as it is right now. However, know that if you don't get in the queue is full. So if you don't get in the queue, you'll never get a turn. So, again, don't be discouraged by the process. Learn every time there's a no, learn from it. Every time there's a process, learn from it, and create a folder that's nothing but your bank stuff. You have nothing in there but your applications and the documents and the process and the notes from that conversation. Put all of that stuff to the side so that you can just pull that up, get online, fill it out, drop the documents in there, and keep it moving. Okay.
Okay. Welcome, Mr. Caleb. Are you in Los Angeles, Mr. Caleb? So, okay, Mr. Greg, we're going to turn it over to you and let you razzle and dazzle us with your charm and humor.
Maybe razzle. Good morning to most of us, and good afternoon to a few who might be joining us or watching. The year 2021. So we've seen a lot of change over the last 12 months, maybe even the last 10 months, and a lot has happened. So it has caused many of us to have to make a transition and pivot or adjust. We'll get into that in a minute. But I've experienced it myself, so the business that I was in was pretty much marketing life insurance for 3B products to the school market, principally Los Angeles Unified. And I went and did face-to-face meetings on campus. And so when COVID came and everything shut down, that pretty much put a barrier to my way of doing business. And it was solely going to visit them, making it convenient for the client and customer. You don't have to travel anywhere. So that was a service. And then so once the campus shut down, I said, oh, okay, yeah, no problem. This will be, just 30 days. We'll go back after Easter. And then it's all right now. The next thing, no, we'll be back in May. We'll be back in June. Oh yeah, maybe we'll be back in the new semester. None of that happened. So, and no idea when they will go back. So it resulted, in fact, I just crunched the numbers. It resulted in, for me, a 51.2% decrease in my revenue. So, so that is sort of really game changing. So you could, or somebody could cry in their soup or make adjustments and reinvent. So this will be going in somewhat career 5 or career 4.5 for me. So, and that's what we're going to have to do. We're not going back to the way things were used to be. So I've got a little brief PowerPoint presentation to start with you guys here, and let me know if that comes through. You guys seeing that?
Got it.
All right. And let's see if I'm going to be able to transition this. There we go. Okay, so we're in the era of a new normal. We are not going back to the way things used to be, both socially and in business. It's just going to change dramatically. Some businesses will thrive. Some are thriving in this COVID and won't have to make any adjustments at all. Some are, if they were in the right industry, providing plexiglass, they've had to ramp up. They've had to find resources. I was reading an article on Kellogg's. They had to shift from, they were no longer providing bulk cereal to institutions, and more people were buying individual boxes of cereal. So they had a shortage of cardboard. So how did they fix that? They had to source and find cardboard or packing materials in order to be able to adjust. So they had done some pre-planning to be able to adjust to that space. Had they not, then they would have been left scrambling trying to meet that demand. We saw some of that problem with the bath tissue industry, the toilet paper. Couldn't find toilet paper because they weren't able to ramp up production quick enough. And all of a sudden, demand, everybody started going crazy over Charmin. So things are going to change in both socially and in business. I think when we reopen, we're not going back to the way things used to be. So we're going to find a way to change. And for some, change is, they said there's 7 sins. Change is that 8th sin. There are a lot of people who do not like to change. We've always done it this way. This COVID is forcing change on a lot of us. We've had to change the way we celebrate holidays, the way we communicate with people, the way we visit, the way we do business, the way we shop. I mean, everything has changed. So this is a major turning point in our lives, and we'll need to make that adjustment. So what do you have to do? Well, I threw out some names here to sort of describe what that is, and you can pick your own verb or transition, or so adjust, pivot. Someone says, well, to pivot. I said, well, pivot means, at least I'm used to basketball. When you're pivoting, you move one foot, but you can't keep, the other foot has to stay there. It has to stay on the court. In some cases, we're not going to be pivoting. We have to shift all together, move. So you've got to move both feet, so it's not I think the word pivot has been overused because it's not just moving around a little bit, moving from direction. It's a complete change. It's changing lanes. It's moving from one highway to another highway, getting off the road and changing direction. I'm not sure how well you can see the screen here, but this is why I selected the compass. How you have changed directions in degrees. So reboot, adapt, overcome, whatever you want to insert there, this is what we have to do. So digital and virtual and Zoom, right? It wasn't until maybe June or July, everybody, was Zoom. And, I thought of the Commodore Zoom, that song. But who knew what this was a year ago today? Back in January, a few, right? Crystal raised her hand, but I really didn't know about Zoom. I mean, I know about WebCE and Cisco and different, video conferencing. But Zoom has now invaded our space, and it has to be a major transition. So I implore people to get comfortable with Zoom. There's a lot of different features and things you can do with Zoom. I'll stop share for a quick minute, and you can be able to find out your virtual backgrounds. Wherever I'm in my studio, or in LA at night, or here. You've got these crazy filters where you can have fun. So there's all kinds of stuff that you can do. Oh, I gotta make sure I get rid of that. There we go. So how to screen share, how to transition from different things, how to unmute. I mean, Crystal, you guys were laughing because I printed this up the other day.
Oh, I thought that was classic. I'm gonna have me one of those.
I just said, you know what? Just let me print it and keep it right under the hair.
I loved that one. Flashcards for Zoom. A new business, right? Another transition.
Yeah, exactly. We can't hear you, unmute. Exactly, just little flashcards. I can't believe I waited this long to get to think about doing that. So
there you go, Ardina. That's another side business for you, sweetheart. Flashcards for
there you
Zoom.
go.
Some cute flashcards for business.
Yeah. So now we went back to Zoom. Can you guys see that now?
Yeah, we can.
All right. So Zoom. So we had to transition from being face-to-face to doing video conferencing. And so I implore each of you to become masters in video conferencing, become masters in presentation. So what does that mean? Well, you want to have a good webcam. Let's see. I just upgraded to my webcam, my laptop. I had just bought a new laptop before COVID. So it had an HD camera in it, and I've been using that for a while. And then my sister actually gave me a webcam for Christmas, and so now it's a little higher definition. It doesn't adjust the lighting the way the other one did. It was always darkening, lightening back up. It was just bad. And the one that I was looking for, I couldn't find. So I invested in in video conferencing. Quality microphone. All right. I had a decent microphone, and it was a USB one, a blue. So blue or snowball is a very good one. It's very inexpensive. But now I upgraded to this guy right here. So it's sort of a broadcast level microphones, USB, and gives much better sound. So, make an investment there. Reliable Wi-Fi. So, I've been, fortunately, I've tussled with Spectrum to have them upgrade the Wi-Fi here. And I just kept calling them. So I said, listen, you're going to fix it. I'm just going to keep calling. You have to roll trucks out here. So it took 8 visits, but they replaced the wire from the pole to the house. The tap, which is on the pole down the street, that was old. It was, so they had to, they found that was bad. The node, I know you learn all these times, but bottom line is and they put in a 4 dB amplifier at the house. So the side of my house, I have an amplifier that's boosting the signal so that I've got, good Wi-Fi. Now, I also have a backup. I've got my jetpack, a little Verizon jetpack. It's on right now. Okay. And so if I lost Wi-Fi, I can switch over to my hotspot on Verizon and still keep broadcasting. I've got my equipment here on battery backup. So if the power goes out, all this stuff stays on. it won't stay on long, but it will stay on momentarily, allow me to either shift over to here or to keep going. So that's backup. Good lighting. You know, fortunately, I've got some natural light here. I'm sitting in front of a window, so I get good sunlight. Afternoon, I've got the blinds because I'll get direct sun here, and that's too much. And then I've got lighting, so that's very important for so people can see you and go through there. And then talk briefly about having a good backdrop or green screen. So during COVID, you know, what you see behind me a year ago didn't look so nice. You know, I had to make the adjustment. I had my certificates. They were sitting in a box probably for about the last 9 years. I said, let me break these things out and put them up on the wall and transition and make it look good. And so so you want to dress up your backdrop. And if you don't, there's green screens that you can get. I found a company called Anyvoo, ANYVOO, anyvoo.com. And they have it comes on a frame, and it's actually a fabric, and so it looks like you can have different versions. You know, the wall, the wood. They'll customize your logo, so if you want to have that behind, and they're pretty inexpensive. And it's portable, so it packs up and you can take it with you. So if you're in a hotel, you can put it behind you and they think you're in an office building or you're outdoors, whatever you want. So you want to have a good backdrop and green screen.
What was that called, Greg? So I can put it in the chat.
ANY, any, and then VOO, anyvoo.com.
Okay. All righty.
And it's a family-owned business. I forget where they are. I was on a video conference and they were, marketing, and it's the fabric that they use is, I think, like athletic wear. So you don't have to worry about it being wrinkled or anything like that. It just stretches over the frame and it looks great. So,
and one thing I want to interject here, one of our regulars, Ardina, is an artist, and she also creates backdrops too. So I
awesome.
To put her information in the chat.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because that's and to keep everything here in the community and folks that we know and love and trust. It's great. Yeah. Absolutely. All right, and so what else? So online resources. Virtual resources, virtual assistants, and freelancers. So there's a lot of things online now. I mean, they were there before, but this virtual COVID shutdown has created a lot of opportunities for people, organizations, suppliers that are out there, and there's new stuff every day. So people are rising to the occasion and meeting that demand. So this stuff there, and I just implore you to find the different resources. VAs. So VAs have become very popular, virtual assistants. There are a lot of companies here. A large number of them are overseas in the Philippines, and they can do a number of things. They can answer the phone, they can make calls, book appointments for you. Just a number of different resources. Freelancers. Okay, so there's a lot of freelancers both here in the States and abroad. These are two that I was using, Fiverr and Freelancer. Freelancer I liked a little bit better. Fiverr, you pick somebody, they sort of advertise about what they provide, and then you select them, you work with them. If you don't, you can switch to somebody else. Freelancer allows you to put a bid up there. So this is the Fiverr logo. So just as you see what it looks like and how it's spelled. And then Freelancer, I use them to create my logo, my avatar. The Freelancer, you can actually do a bid, what you're willing to pay. And obviously the higher you're willing to pay, the more people will bid on it. So when I went to create my logo, I said, well, okay, I'm willing to pay $100. So I post it. It allows you to guarantee the payment through an escrow. So they have a built-in escrow. So I'm guaranteeing that I'm not just a looky-loo. I'm really looking forward to make this happen. So that gets labeled on the bid. And then these freelancers say, oh, okay, well, this guy is serious about it. Let me work on it. So they actually put up designs They, and I gave them some guidance as to what I was looking for. Here's a couple of pictures. I want to kind of meld these two pictures. I chose the colors. So I had a vision of what I wanted. But if you're just, kind of starting from scratch, or you have some ideas, the more you give them to work on, the more they can put that together. And it worked out great. When I get to the point, my avatar, I had an avatar done. They took a photograph of me, and I could have found somebody here to do it, but sometimes they're going to charge you more. It cost me $20 and did it very good. The freelancer that I used for the logo was out of Karachi, Pakistan. And the avatar was someone out of India, not even Mumbai. It was one of the smaller towns in India. So those are the opportunities with freelancer. So now is the time to change. Now is the time for new beginnings. And, you really have to make that adjustment. And for me, I've had to make the adjustment into, there's my logo, the logo that I had. I was talking with a couple during the summer, because they had, reached out to Greg, I know you're a financial guy, you need some help. And, we worked with them together a little bit. And at the end, they said, what? Oh, thank you. I'm so happy you were able to help. You've been a lifesaver. And at that moment, it's like, oh, okay, that lifesaver. I like that. And I was surprised that the name was available, Lifesaver Financial Services. I had the company check all 50 states to see whether there was any LLCs, any corporations, and it wasn't. I was like, oh man, this was meant to be. This was thank you, Lord. This was a blessing. So I had that designed, and they gave me different versions of it, different formats. I even had the reverse. I had the reverse logo. So if this, is on white background, but if I had to do it on black, I have that. And the guy signed a release, intellectual property release. So I've got a document that he has no claim to it. That's my design. He worked on it, but he released that IP. So that's important to get also, because when you blow up and you're making, big money, that's when people come after you like, well, that's my, I was entitled to some money for that. And this is my website now. So I'm offering financial coaching, my shameless plug, lifesaverfinancial.com. So what I'm doing now is providing coaching to individuals, small business owners, help people get organized with their money. It's hard sometimes to keep track of what's going on, because everything's, I still get paper statements, but a lot of people don't. Everything's on electronic, so you really don't get a chance to really see your money. In the old days, you actually had money stashed, and this before our time. There was no. You might have had a bank, but you kept money in the freezer. Folks used to do that. Keep the money in the freezer or under the mattress. Now we don't get the chance to see our money. So that's a challenge. And our society is encouraging us to spend more than what we have. So there are a lot of folks out there that are in debt, spending more than what they make. And it doesn't matter your income level. If you don't have the money, you don't have credit, then you really can't spend beyond what you're making. But there are individuals that are making, good money, $500,000, and they're spending, they're making 400 and spending 425. And so that's just a recipe that will eventually catch up to them. So they need that help. And so that's the services that I'm providing for a fee. And I'm discounting that fee initially. Again, shameless plug. So I think that the key thing really is, from the stop share here, is to make the adjustment, make the transition. Now is the time to adjust and make it happen. So take any questions, and thank you, Crystal and Robin and Stephen, for inviting me to speak on that today. And we were talking about it, and I said, oh man, that's a great topic. Let's, we need to let people know, what that change is, and embrace it. We can't go back. We can't undo. Some of us would like to, hit the where's my remote control? Life doesn't give you full control over it. There's no fast forward. There's no rewind. We have two buttons. You have stop and play.
That's pretty much it. Stop and
That
play.
was excellent.
Stop and play.
Stop Stop and play. And I use some great tools, and I too, Greg, I've used Fiverr. One of the things, if you guys have seen, and I'll share real quick, this literally costs me $59. And that was if you guys have seen my show, The Business Zone, our oh wait, stop that real quick. Our intro and outro was done for $59 on Fiverr. And it took them literally 5 days to make it happen for me. And as soon as it starts to play.
I love the intro.
Yeah. Gilbert is
As a small
he wrote the words,
using procurement,
and these are pictures, just images from our show.
Using procurement, program and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.
So you too can create an intro that you can use on social media to introduce yourself in your business. Just take some images. If any of you are coaches and trainers, or even Bianca, if you've got some jobs that you've gotten, that you've done, and you've been publicity, you've been awarded or honored, you just put together whatever pictures, you tell them what verbiage you want, and they will create it. And that's very professional. Would have probably cost me several $100s or thousands of dollars if I had actually gone to a videographer and to editing and do all that as well. And so they did both my intro and outro, and it plays in any platform. If you're looking, one of the pivots, podcasting, in my opinion, is the best marketing tool God could have ever presented to you. And if you're not using it in some capacity, either teaching, training, it doesn't have to be an hour. It doesn't have to be 2 hours. It could, Fiverr, Fiverr. It doesn't have to be any of that. It could just be you. $59. It could just be you being the subject matter expert in your area, expertise. It could be 15-minute update every week, but you got to be consistent about it. It doesn't cost you anything. You can do it on Zoom. I just found this new platform. I don't know if you guys saw the Business Zone last Friday. Oh, I am just like thrilled with it. It's got this big, I can change the background. I look like last Friday, we looked like we were CNN. I did have to do some editing because I do have challenges with the internet around here as well, but it was CNN quality. It was nice. And I was using, and that it's called Restream. You can also teach classes on it. I'll share that with you guys real quick. We were impressed. It was easy for my clients, for our guests to get on. Let me see. I just need to go over to Facebook real quick to
While you're looking for that, I want to entreat Greg, that's wonderful. I want to entreat you for your presentation. And I want to remind our listeners, don't get caught up in the lingo. When you're hearing somebody say something, if you don't raise your hand and ask them for clarity, then contact our girlfriend Google. She's stuck like a typical female. She got a lot of information for you. Mm-hmm. So you Google these words so that you can use them in your presentation, in your commentary. And then don't hesitate to take the tutorials for these programs that are out there. You know, the tutorials are very, very brief, and they're very practical and intuitive. So, don't hesitate to do that. And one of the other things Greg said is create a good space, create a good working space for yourself. And what I try to do is on Fridays, I try to do my cleanup. I try to create some piles of stuff I need to follow up on, things that I need to go through, things that I need to throw away because I can get it electronically, so keep your space as clean as you can. And the one thing I need to work on now is some of these tools that they talked about, but more importantly, my background. So that's gonna be my next step to try to get that taken care of. And then finally, I'll say, you guys know me, every night, every day, you're dealt a new hand. Every night, the cards are shuffled. So you play that hand for that day, because tomorrow you're going to get a new deck of cards. And what was your priority today might be tier 57, you know? So pace yourself and engage with this virtual environment, because this is where the young people have been, and they are new leaders. So our job as seasoned individuals is to catch up, but also to help them. You know, I always say that wisdom and knowledge comes with time, right? So you don't poo-poo on the older people, but you also, we don't get to be like our parents were, where we can say, my mother 92, get ready to turn 93 Valentine's Day. Baby, mama not gonna do no internet, I'm not technical. I said, Rose, you talking on the phone and you got an answer machine. That was the beginning of you becoming technical. And so again, people don't see it that way, but it's just that simplistic.
Yeah, exactly. So we can't poo-poo that stuff. So this was our new look on Friday. And at Restream, one of the things I like about Restream is that you can broadcast live on 30 different platforms all at the same time. Talk about some exposure. So you may not even have all the platforms, but and it's very user friendly. I set it up. And I started using it on Friday for the very first time. You get a link just like you do Zoom, send it out to if you're going to interview some guests, or you just want to come in and do your own thing. You can do just like Greg did. You can have your picture in a picture. You can make your lower thirds. You can match your clothes to your background.
Oh, wow.
if you that kind of fashionista that you are.
Yeah, I've been reading about this. This is the because StreamYard is what a lot of people have been using. So this Restream now seems to have taken StreamYard to a new level. So.
Yeah. So some of the things that I liked about it, and I used StreamYard for the last since we came back on air in July. I used StreamYard. StreamYard is excellent, but this one actually helps you monitor your internet activity and what's the strength of the signal. But more than that, it actually has it does analytics as you're filming, as you're broadcasting live. It actually is telling you who's on, is showing you the location. So it has analytics going on in the background, has storage that you can maintain. And as I said, it lets you stream on 30 different platforms. So that means you could be streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever they allow you, Periscope, if you still are periscoping, but all at the same time. So that's reaching whatever the broad market and bringing in other viewers and potential clients. The other thing I'm going to say in this is make sure whatever marketing, and make sure you're putting out marketing, use e-blast systems, Constant Contact. There's a free one called Mail Light. That one's free. There's another free one. And I don't know if you guys know this, but if you use Google has a whole platform of extensions that can make your life just seamless. On my Google account, I have an email tracker. I have a CRS, a customer retention system, all connected to, and it just attaches to my Google a framework. So if anyone have seen my signature on my email address, you see my picture that rotates down in the bottom. I'm a tech junkie and a geek. I don't know if you guys have figured that out yet, but I am. I may not be an IT person, but I love gadgety and gadgety things. So on my email, when I send it out to you, and if you look at the very bottom, it has all kinds of wonderful things. I can change my signature at will. I can have my own subscribed name, but it says, let me show you. It actually has any show that I am actually doing. I have it attached to the bottom so you can watch the current shows. So it has my picture, it has all the companies, it has a video that you can click on, you can schedule an appointment. It says Happy New Year to you. all of that is going on because I use a extension called Y Stamp. Absolutely fabulous. That's one of my.
Let's open up the lines and see if anybody has any questions or anything that they
And
want.
if you guys have anything that you're
get some more
using,
yeah.
let's share.
Okay.
So Crystal, okay, there we go. Ardina is ready.
Yes.
Okay. Why stamp? Was that, how do you spell that?
WISESTAMP.
W-I-S, wise.
Wise, yes.
Stamp, S-T-A-M-P?
Uh-huh. STMP, just stamp like a postage stamp. I started using a tracking system for my mailing because a certain one of my, it's called Mail Track, a certain one of my sponsors for RBD kept saying they weren't getting my email, and I knew that wasn't the case. So I added on a Mail Track, and I was like, no, you just open. In fact, you've opened it 4 times.
I love that. I love that.
So get your Mail Track. All of these are extensions, and you can find extensions at you on your Google. There's 3 little dots on the right hand side. If you open those 3 little dots up, it says more tools, and then it says extensions. And those extensions are there. Majority of them are free. Now, of course, if you want more, for it to do more, then you have to pay for that. But these make my life easier. I use a email scheduler. I think most of us have started using that because that also makes my life easier. I can't run 4 businesses if I don't have these tools. So Ardina, you had one called Anchor.
It's called Anchor. I just got that information last week. I haven't tried it, but it's a free platform for podcasting.
Yes. Oh yeah, I know somebody that's doing a podcast on Anchor.
Okay. But I think it's only if you have an iPhone right now.
Yeah, and there's 2 different types of podcasting. You can do the visual, or you can do a podcast just like Dave Ramsey and Susie Orsman, where you're just talking, and then it goes out to the podcast platform, and it's being heard all over the world.
So for the visual, which one is that?
That would be this one, Zoom. It would be Stream. It would be It would be Restream.
Stream? Okay.
Restream, StreamYard. There's a new one that I just saw the other day called Melon, MELON. And of course you got Zoom. Oh, and the other thing about Restream and Zoom, you can actually, they have they call it an RTMP. You can put that link in and you can put your Zoom inside a Restream. So you have all the components and the operations of Zoom, but you can now do it in Restream and get your lower thirds and look like you, the CNN too.
Nice. Yeah, good information.
Yes, Stephen.
Before I ask Gregory a question, I want to acknowledge Bianca Vubecki. For those that are in the market for masks, Bianca Vubecki has she's a wholesaler and distributor of medical and health masks in this COVID world. A plug for that, as well as Greg, secondarily, what application did you use for that background?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Oh, what is that background you have? How did you arrive at?
That's just the pictures that I pull off of the web, and then you can insert the picture into the Zoom platform. So I can select different photographs and then drop them in there. So so I've got the LA. I can switch to nighttime. I could be in my penthouse.
Can we hire you to do our background?
My fraternity. If I'm out of the sky, I've got my logo. First Name Church.
Yeah.
Great. I just want to pivot for 1 second and have Bianca Becky update us on the PPE and masks.
Hi, thank you for the opportunity. I know that Now they're telling everyone to wear 2 masks because of new strains. And then they said that you don't need the N95. That's because the N95 mask was not available and the hospitals couldn't get enough for the doctors. And then so now a lot of the ones that are in the US market are called KN95. So KN95 is made in China. And you know, Chinese, you can buy your stamp. So some of them are very good quality, some are very poor. Now, one of my partners saw this last year, and they opened a huge manufacturing to do masks right here in the city of LA. And it's US made, it's NOSH number. And so now that they have millions available now. So instead of wearing 2 masks, 3 masks, you could just get your N95 mask. They're medical approved, and they have all the CDC and FDA stamps. So the great thing about it is made here in the USA, and you know that it's, you know, the one that will protect you. And we have access to thousands and thousands. So if you know anyone that needs them, you know, and you know, and the great thing about it, it's right here in LA. So you get it the same day if you really need it, or it can be shipped to you for like, you know, $1 in the mail. But anyway, pass it around, you know, because it is something that people are looking for, and it's right here in our neighborhood.
And are they standard colors, or do you have
Okay, they come in 2 styles. The N95,
yes,
the FDA, you know, it has to go around your head like the doctors do. So that one's the stamp N95, and that only comes in white because it's medical grade. And then, you know, they don't want, I guess, doctors wearing black or blue masks. So it's white. Now there's another one that's made, same company in the United States, same material, the 5 layers, and has the same seal, but it goes around your ear. That one has a CDC stamp, but it cannot be called N95s because the FDA says only the ones down here. So there's 2 types. The one that goes around your ears, it comes in white and black. And because I know the distributor, I looked everywhere, our price is cheaper than everybody. I think it's like $2.75 a mask if you're buying like one, you know. So they come like $27 for 10. And most places are either selling the Chinese KN95s or they're selling them at $3 or more. I know my sister said she bought hers at $5 because she worked in a hospital, but they didn't provide. You know, so this is like one of the best prices because it's right here. There's no shipping. You don't have to worry about containers coming from other countries. So they're able to keep the price low, and they're just proud. And their logo says, made by Americans for Americans. So
Okay, cool.
you know, so
put
there's
the
2
link-
colors.
put the link in the chat for us.
Yeah, can you put your email link in the chat, Bianca?
And what's your, in the quantity, you know, what's your minimum, and, you know, what is the minimum quantity?
They come in a packet of 10.
Okay.
You know, but like I just picked up 3,000 yesterday because, like I said, it's in LA. It takes me 30 minutes. I go get them, bring them here, and yeah, so that we have plenty. And they're making them. They're making them for the hospitals because made in the U.S. is so important. You know, so they're continuing. But I have it in because they're like a partner of mine, so I can get as many as I want.
Well, you know, and while
I'll
we're
put the
on that
link.
subject, I think that it's critically important that we remember what was covered in the news yesterday, that some of these hand sanitizers that are coming from outside of the country are not good for us. They make them out of anything, and they're bottling up, and they're cheap as dirt. So be very, very mindful and careful about where you buy that hand sanitizer. Greg, stop putting on all this stuff. Be careful and mindful of where you buy that hand sanitizer, because you really could be poisoning your body and not getting the protection that you need.
That's cool. So Greg, wait a minute, and this is for the ladies. So Greg had his mask and his hat. Do you know that Zoom has where they can give you eyebrows and lipstick? So if you forget your lipstick while you're on, you can add some enhancements. It's under the, if you go under the same place where you go get the mask, I think that's under your video, and down at the very bottom, it's called video filters. And you look for the studio effects, so it can actually give you some eyebrows and lips and a little blush.
That's cool.
For the ladies on the call. Yeah, there you go. So make it fun, guys. It's like Greg said, he got his mustache. Greg says, this is the way we're going to be for a while. So if we're in other platforms, not obviously not in your super busy, but it could break the monotony if you're doing a workshop and all of a sudden you come out with your French beret. That'll get a person's attention if they're falling asleep. so think about that. Anyone here has had what are some of your pivots? What have you guys done or transitions to help you survive through this process? And then before we hang up, because Colette is such a wonderful person, she sent me a little link, and we have some updates from PCR.
Good.
Good evening, everyone. This is Monita. I just wanted to say today was very helpful. Thank you very much, Greg and Crystal and Robin. And Bianca, I think I'm going to reach out to you. I actually, my husband and I have a safety company, and those masks may be of great need. I'll need to get with him in regards to that. But I also, Greg, would like to get with you. I also work in finances and life insurance, and I'm an independent contractor as well. So possibly we can have some synergy to work together. I'm definitely one who believes in that there's plenty for everybody, so we're not in competition, we complement each other.
Yes.
And so, and I think that's one of the pivots that we need to, take into account as well, is working together as teams, to build each other's company. And so, Crystal, I really applaud you for the platform that you've created here, for all of us. And the information today was extremely helpful. And I was referred here by Colette. She and I are in another organization together, and we both were when she started her last business before she went to PCR. I've been in business for over 20 years with my husband, but this is definitely a good platform. It's been very informative for me. I have gotten a couple of the grants that you all have advertised here. I do take diligence in taking notes. I'm not always screen ready, so I need to get my
get you some backgrounds, my sister.
It's not the background, it's me.
Hey, we'll take it from Robin. Get you some headbands.
I just got my head too bad.
Hey, Manita, get the wide ones. Don't just get a headband, get the wide ones. And you guys, again,
I got my hairstyle for today,
It's so cute, Greg. It is so very cute.
I love it, Greg. Wonderful.
And so, Manita, thank you for that testimony, because again, the four of us get together and we all come from our corners and come into the middle and say, we're planning, we got a great calendar. Stephen is taking the lead on this, on a great calendar for these next couple. We're looking, we're trying to schedule folks for the next quarter. And so if you have ideas or individuals that you think would be good commentary or good information, again, this is not an opportunity to do a commercial. It is more of an opportunity to talk about what you do, what resources you have available, and what challenges are you having. And to your point, Manita, it is this collective this collective community that we've tried to create, and we're excited. We're really, really excited. So that kind of feedback is what we need. And we, we expect that you guys, especially our regular folks, we expect you guys to be able to add commentary, because you've been here, you're hearing it, you're sharing it, you're introducing people, and we're always looking for speakers.
Exactly. So we honor you. Yes, Stephen.
With that being the case, next Thursday, February the 4th, we have two representatives for the Small Business Administration that will talk about the IDO, PPP, and update us on what's taking place, not only with the SBA, but what's going on at the White House. On the 11th, we have a woman franchisee from 7-Eleven that will talk. And then on the 18th of February, we're going to have tentatively customer service. We have a major employer, and we're going to talk about in the African American community customer service. So mark your calendar for the 4th, the 11th, the 18th.
And tell a friend and bring a friend. And it's the same link. So I did that purposely, so you didn't have to get a new link and you couldn't share. So it's the same link every week. Yes, Bianca?
Stephen, can you make sure that the SBA people talk about this tax credit that they have part of the stimulus package? That's kind of confusing. I mean, I keep getting emails about, this tax credit that you could apply for now, but I don't know, is it only if you don't get the PPP, or it's only if you didn't get the other grants or loans?
Right.
But now I think they signed it, another big tax credit, and it'd be great for businesses, but I don't think we know enough about it so we can take advantage.
True, and also I'm asking someone to maybe talk about the tax consequences of these various programs, whether it be a grant as well as a loan, because even if you got unemployment, a lot of people are going to be surprised at the liability. So stay tuned on the 4th. I'm glad you mentioned that. And you and I will be talking between now and then, and I want to make sure that we have a very robust, as they come there with some answers instead of just telling us, reading off a PowerPoint.
And we're trying to get someone from the EDD, because that's a mess as well. I mean, there are a number of self-employed contractors that have been getting unemployment. I do know that they had a major backup. About 914,000 people were in the backup pool, and now that they were automatically your benefits ended on December 31st or December 26th, and they were automatically restoring it, and they've been slow about doing that. And so some of them, so finally that some individuals or any of your employees, if they're not working, and you can pass definitely this on because there's over 1 million people on unemployment, both sole practitioners and independent contractors, as well as individuals working for companies. So they have a backlog, but now they're doing certifications, certifying the benefits for the 2 weeks. So I think they've done it for the first 2 weeks of January, and they've just done it for the last 2 weeks of January. And when it does come out, it's coming out as a month. They're going to get a whole month of benefits, and as well as the $300 from the federal government has been added per week. So, and that will be a retro back to January 1, because it was signed into effect by that other guy on December 27th. So, and I hear that Biden, I don't know if anyone, here's something. Don't know if anyone got their stimulus, but what they were doing is, and a lot of people didn't know what the heck it was, you received a card in the mail, and it said it came from the federal government. It was black, there was no information, and it turned out that's where your stimulus money was for the $1,400. Many people thought it was a scam, and they threw it in the trash. So if you did get that in the mail, then it would look like a mystery. It asked you to call in or tap in, and it asked you for your social security number. Folks panicked, and they're like, I'm not giving that information up, and they tossed it. Dumb idea, but that's what happened. And I hear that even if you did not do your taxes by electronic, they are trying to figure out ways to get it to the American public in some other way. They may be having you call in to verify your address so that they can then send you a check. But fraud is just on hyper alert, right? Hyper, even for anything that's going on. You do have to be careful. Yes, Robin?
Yeah, I was going to mention that these scams are horrendous. My husband just got something. We do a lot of business with Home Depot, and he was like, they've sent me a gift. I said, I'm telling you guys now, the first thing you do is look at who the email came from. Do not open them. Immediately go down and block them. You need to start blocking this stuff, not just put them in your junk file, but you need to block these things out. It is horrendous on your phones, on your desktop. The scam business, to the point that EDD lost $11 billion that they sent out to people who had this scam set up. And these were people in prison, lifers in prison. So the scams are very, very prevalent. Be very mindful of what you're receiving in your email. And before you click on anything, that's the first thing I do. I do all of my house cleaning on my emails before I open up anything. And I'll just block anything. And then that way, if somebody want to reach me, they have my phone number or send me another email, and then maybe I can pay attention to it. But be very, very mindful of that. And then the other thing that we want to do is, and with that, as we've been talking, please make sure you guys and spread this word. We cannot afford to not participate politically. Okay, we had the election. Now we need to push and press, push and press, push and press, push and press. Ask questions. These people are being paid with our tax dollars. We put them in office. We need to hold their feet to the fire. Even the good ones, they're doing a good job. We need to let them know. But we also need to let them know what the pain points are, because when you think about it, most of these people in these political offices are rich. Their point of view or point of reference is pretty doggone narrow, you know, and unless you're looking like us, you really didn't have, there's no struggle in their life, you know, so keep that in mind. And then finally, when we're talking about our programming, we are looking for a group of professionals to come on to talk about the vaccine. You know, we know that Johnson & Johnson has their new vaccine that's probably going to get approved. It's a one-stop shop kind of setup. I was talking to a medical friend earlier today. They say the Johnson & Johnson vaccine was built off of a platform from what they've used for the flu, you know, that kind of protocol. And so, and of course, Johnson & Johnson has had their hand slapped on a whole lot of other stuff. But again, they've been around. And so, you know, again, stay vigilant about getting your vaccine. Nobody can tell you what to do, but I say it this way. You either put on whatever armor they provide you, or you stand in the COVID line, because COVID is coming. It's here, and everybody in our constituency has somebody in their family that's been touched by this. So I want to remind you guys of that, and know that again, we're looking to identify some speakers and some folks to come in and talk about the vaccine.
Okay.
I'm ready for my shot.
Manetta, you had a question?
No, I was just going to piggyback on what Robin said with your one. I did get I didn't get a first stimulus, and when I got that card the second time, I actually saw on the news about what it would look like, and so I did call and verify the information that it was real and what to look for. I looked up everything on it, and so it just comes on a card. But also with the emails, don't only look who it comes from, look at the email address. You have to look at the email address, and also look at the signatures. If there's anything that's misspelled, more than likely it is not it is a scam. So those are things that you really have to look for, is at the email address, not just the name, and misspellings in the email in itself.
There's something always misspelled in those emails. You are 1,000% correct.
Right. So just because they're coming out from other countries and so forth. So be definitely vigilant. And thank you, Minta. Also, so we want to thank you. Ardina says the Pan-African Film Fest is starting February 1st to March 14th. She's going to be exhibiting. Please stop by. Michelle indicated that if you're applying for the Super Bowl Business Connect, apply. The information is in the chat, so pull that out. The applications are closing on February 1st. And real quickly before we leave, here are some events that are coming up. Let's see. We have the PPP forgiveness update on PPP Flexible Act. That's today at 2:00 from 2 to 3. This is with pcr.org. And then in February, they have restaurant leadership transitioning from line to manager. They have the California Relief Training Round 2 will start as of February 2nd, 2021, and will be due on Monday, February 8th. The application process and requirements are there, so you can go to this website. It's also in the chat. The training, the application. The SBDC FranNet, the Franchise Ownership 101, that's taking place on February 2nd. And disaster funding, the new 2021 stimulus, that's February 3rd from 1 to 2. And marketing during the uncertainty of COVID is February 4th from 11 a.m. to 12:30. And loan forgiveness update on the PPP Flexibility Act is February 4th from 2 to 3. Know Your Numbers, accounting for restaurant. The Restaurant Academy is doing it for on February 4th from 3 p.m. to 4:30. Financial fitness special event, take that to the bank. So that's on February 5th from 10 a.m. to 11:30. And then Safe Clean Kitchen passing the so there's just a whole wealth. And if you don't have a business plan, that's there. I start teaching a series of Start Your Business on the new Business Women's Center starting February 4th. I think I have a classes in the evening at 6 o'clock. And then I'm doing a series of bankable cash flow. I'm doing Understand Accounting Tools at Vermont Slauson. So you can go to their website and get that information as well. So lots of information out there for us. No excuse for us not to jump out there. And we want to thank Colette for always being here, even when she's not here. So that's awesome. So guys, this has been fantastic. I hope you guys have benefited from it. We have, I have the honor of having Miss Barbara Lindsay, and she just popped in. And Barbara Lindsay, and I'm working with Barbara this in 2021. We're having a series of workshops and training, I believe, starting in April. Barbara, if you're there, if you can, I think it's April, but we're going to teach you how to benefit from being a vendor at a expo. And it's not just about being a vendor, and it's also about how you utilize that to leverage your business in addition to the individuals that are putting on the expo. So we're going to do a series of training so that you can benefit. If for those of you who don't know, Barbara is the founder of the Black Business Expo. She used to run them back in the 89, I think, 89, 90. They were the 3-day events down at the convention center. And then I think one year Muhammad Nazardine jumped in there, and then Hal Helmbrick, he was involved, and also Watts Health Foundation. So that is the Barbara Lindsay. She's always usually behind the scenes, but she brought a lot of businesses together. In fact, a lot of you here I met in that environment. And then PCR, I didn't even know who PCR was until the very first Black Expo that I went to that Barbara put on. And that's when I realized what they were, when I learned who they were and what they did.
So Crystal, will you guys be covering virtual expos as well?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Barbara, this year, the Black Business Expo is going to be September 12th, 2021, but we did it in 2022 for the very first time on a platform called Hopin. And so we're going to train on that, as well as how to benefit from being in a virtual platform, because that is an excellent way for you to promote yourself and promote your business and promote your subject matter expertise.
Okay.
Okay. All righty, guys. It's been awesome. You can go back and catch this show on Facebook Live on the Business Zone, and as well as Recycling Black Dollars. And you can go take it and share it on your own platforms. Okay, you guys are stars here as well. So we'll see you. Thank you, Greg. That was pretty awesome.
Excellent, Greg. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Good
Thank you,
questions,
Robin.
team. Okay, take care, everybody.
Great meeting. Thank you.
Thank
Sure
you,
was.
Bianca. Thank you for sharing, and everyone. Thank you. And
Yeah.
please come back, bring some friends. Thank you,
Awesome.
Ardina.
You're welcome. God bless.
Bye-bye.